His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Braj Bhumi Vrindavan Dhama ki jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dhama ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dhama ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gopremanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Welcome to today's class. Today we're speaking on the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita as it is, and the universal form. And we're speaking on text number 13. Tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnaṁ pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnaṁ pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnaṁ pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnaṁ pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnaṁ pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnaṁ pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnaṁ pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā tatra, there, eka-stham, in one place, jagat, the universe, kṛtsnam, complete, pravibhaktam, divided, anekadhā, into many, apaśyat, could see, deva-devasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, śarīre, in the universal form, pāṇḍavaḥ, Arjuna, tadā, at that time, Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At that time, Arjuna could see the universal form of the Lord, the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Please repeat, at that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Purport. The word tatra there is very significant. It indicates that both Arjuna and Kṛṣṇa were sitting on the chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Kṛṣṇa gave the vision only to Arjuna. Arjuna could see in the body of Kṛṣṇa many thousands of planets. As we learn from the Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on his chariot, Arjuna could see all these, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjuna and Kṛṣṇa. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandayaham Shri Guruhu Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrijatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Sarasvate Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesa Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tatraika-sthaṁ jagat kṛtsnam pravibhaktam anekadhā apaśyad deva-devasya śarīre pāṇḍavas tadā. Hare Krishna. So the translation is saying that Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord unlimited expansions of the universe, although situated into one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Srila Prabhupada is making the point that Arjuna was sitting on the chariot, and it was there that he could see this universal form. It made me curious to know why Prabhupada was talking about the planets. So I looked into the commentaries of the acharyas to see if they'd mentioned the planets, and they have. Both Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vijayabhushan mentioned the planets. Ramanuja gave a very full description of all the things that Arjuna could see. Now, we'll see them in the coming up verses as Arjuna describes what he can see. Ramanuja said, in the Supreme Lord Krishna's divine, transcendental and phenomenal Vishvarup, or divine universal form, infinitely high and unfathomably wide, with splendourless effulgence and unlimited faces, heads, eyes and bodies, with unlimited celestial weapons and unlimited celestial ornaments, accompanied by celestial unguents, divine garlands and raiments. So all these many, many things that the universalist form itself, Arjuna is seeing in one place, while sitting on the battlefield in the chariot. So we'll see later on, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on this, how difficult it is to see the whole universe with so many things in it, sitting in one place. All interacting with unlimited wonders and marvels, Arjuna could clearly see manifested in a single location within the universal form of all creation, with its unlimited, multifarious and variegated details, from the greatly powerful Brahma and all the demigods down to the humble blade of grass. He could see the complete animal, vegetable and mineral kingdoms, and all the diverse planetary systems, all composed of the Prakriti, or the material substratum pervading the material existence from the highest, Bhura, Sva, etc., all the way down to the lowest planetary systems of Patala, with all the varying inhabitants, habitats, and habits. He could also perceive the Brahman, or the spiritual substratum, pervading all existence with its sublimely subtle transcendental presence, imperceptible to normal eyes. All this was seen by Arjuna due to the divine vision bequeathed upon him by Lord Krishna, substantiating his declarations in chapter 10, such as verse 39, that is the origin of all, and nothing can exist separately, independent from him. And in verse 42 he states that a mere fraction of his potency he maintains and sustains all moving and stationary beings. So Ramanuja Acharya is bringing out the point that Krishna has already said that he's the origin of all. Nothing can exist separately from him, independent from him. That by a mere fraction of his potency, he maintains and sustains all moving and stationary beings. So now Arjuna is practically seeing this. And so this is there for us to know. But we have to remember that Arjuna didn't get there even by his qualifications as a devotee. We know from the previous chapters, particularly chapter 9, that Arjuna was very well qualified to hear the transcendental science from Krishna, because he was non-envious, because he was a devotee, because he was a friend of Krishna. But to see this universal form all in one place, he was given divine vision. He could not gain the qualification to see this divine vision. He had to receive the mercy from Krishna. Now, so Baladev Vijabhushan comments on this word tatra, as Srila Prabhupada did, that it was there on the battlefield where Krishna, who's called deva-devasya, which means the god of all gods. When I'm giving classes in my God Sisters Zoom group for the Telugu audience, they call Krishna Devadi-Dev, which means the original god of all gods. So that was interesting. I thought sometime I'd like to explain the word Bhagavan to them so they understand not just the god of all gods, but why he's the god of all gods and the different qualities he's got. But so deva-devasya means the god of gods. thousands heads and that sacred form, Arjuna could see the whole universe, its various parts. So this comes from the word pravibhaktam, which Prabhupada has translated as divided. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur expands on that word even more. Eka-stham, in one place, as was explained already in verse 7. So in verse 7, Krishna had said to Arjuna, "O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is completely here in one place." So Krishna had introduced the fact that you would see everything, and now Arjuna is seeing it. The universe was variously composed of earth, gold and jewels, anekadhā. So this word anekadhā is being divided up by the acharyas. Baladeva Jabhushan says it means that the planets of the universe can be composed of earth, gold and jewels, as Srila Prabhupada mentions. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions his second meaning. The universe can have appeared in small, medium and large forms. So Srila Prabhupada also mentions that at the end, some of them are very great, some are not so great. So because anekadhā, in the word for word, anekadhā was simply translated as into many. But anekadhā means not one, so it means various, it means different types. So these acharyas have commented differently. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says similar things, but he says, he also adds on this word pravibhaktam, which we had divided. He said that it was impossible to see the whole universe all at once. So what Arjuna was actually seeing was that in one part of the universal body he was seeing one thing, in another part of the universal body he was seeing another thing. He gives an example. He says, example in the Lord's paw, or parts situated in his belly, and in various ways. He says the planets made of earth, gold and jewels, or measuring 50 koti yojanas, or 100 koti yojanas, or 100,000 koti yojanas. So very small and very big planets. So the point that I wanted to talk about in today's class, let me go there, was the fact that sometimes Srila Prabhupada will introduce to us ideas that are very different from the ways that we've grown up thinking about the world. And here Prabhupada challenges us by saying that there are some planets made of earth, but there are other planets made of gold, there are other planets made of jewels. So I was thinking about that sometimes we hear these things, and the question is, how do we accept them or not accept them? Prabhupada presents these ideas. They're different from what we're used to. So there are different ways we can approach it. We could simply think, well, it doesn't really matter what the rest of the universe is like. We'll just ignore it and let it go away. And if we think that way, maybe we'll expect it to be resolved later, or maybe we'll think it's not important. We may accept them blindly but not understand them at all. And then sometimes that can lead to a conflict later on in our lives, when we've accepted something blindly and something comes up to challenge what we've accepted blindly, and we're shaken, our faith becomes shaken. Or we can think deeply about it, but the acharyas point out that through our own reasoning we'll never come to a conclusion. I was looking at some of what people were thinking about the creation of the universes. And even as back as the 1950s, people were speculating on life on other planets, and they were drawing pictures of what they thought life on other planets would be. But of course we can only think in terms of what we know around us. So even the scientists don't think any different from that. They think for life to exist there must be water, there must be air to breathe, it must have oxygen, it must be a certain density of air. And so they're looking for planets with similar environment to us. So I was looking at this article written by one scientist, and he's saying that he's come to realize that even if we happen to find a universe that's exactly like Earth, it probably has some different life forms on it, different types. It may not have plants and animals, it may have completely different life forms. So even if we're looking for something that will match something that we can go to, some of these people are speculating that we're looking for other planets so that we'll have somewhere to go to when we've completely spoiled the Earth and ruined it completely. So therefore we have to go somewhere else. But the truth is that any planet that might be livable for humans is at least like traveling 125,000 years away, so we're never going to get there. So for us, we're not too worried about that. But the belief in creation, the belief in that things are created by God, by an intelligent design, by a consciousness, is very important. If we don't accept the intelligent design, the fact that God is in control, that is leading to the degradation of society. It's leading to you can kill children in the womb if you think they're just a bundle of chemicals. You can destroy rainforests, it doesn't matter, it's just a bundle of chemicals. You can destroy animals, it doesn't matter, it's just a bundle of chemicals. But for us personally, it has implications on our devotional service as well. We might say, oh, that doesn't matter, we just become pure devotees and Krishna will look after everything else. But if we think, even if we accept blindly but without really having faith, it will affect us in our devotional service. Because if we're left trying to decide what we can accept and what we can't accept in the scriptures, then we're left with our own intelligence. We will be deciding by ourselves, okay, I'm reading the scriptures for 4 hours a day, but I'm just accepting what I like and I'm letting go what I don't like. This is not going to bring us to spiritual advancement. We actually have to, our vision will remain tinted by our understanding, our worldview. And then we will never be able to come into agreement with other devotees, because we'll think that our worldview, our way of thinking is the way that we should interpret the scriptures. Actually, as we progress in devotional service, we should be deepening our understanding of the scriptures. So we have to be a little bit open that what we see now in the scriptures, the next time we read Bhagavad Gita we find something new. But we also have to be prepared to renovate our belief system, because something new will also challenge some things the way we always thought, oh, it should be interpreted this way. But then in a few years' time we find, oh, no, it shouldn't be interpreted this way. There is a new understanding, there's a fuller understanding that should be more widely understood by all the devotees. So it means that we should be a little aware of our situation in devotional service and aware that we're not yet pure devotees. Actually, when learning knowledge, listening to classes, acquiring knowledge is only half the process of devotional service. The realization comes when we engage in the process of hearing and chanting in the association of devotees, and when we engage in the process of acharya-upasana, this is described in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 13:8 to 12, in the first verse. Amanidvama damvidvama himsa kshantir arjavam acharyo-upasanam socham stairyam atman vinigraha. So there it's simply translated as approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Acharya-upasanam literally means worship of the spiritual master. But Prabhupada, worship of the acharyas. But Prabhupada has brought this into a practical application for us. He talks about it as when we read the books, then that is acharya-upasana. Prabhupada says, we have given an English translation so many important books. You study, chant this Hare Krishna mantra like this, and that is the following in the footsteps of the Goswamis. Acharya-upasana. We have to worship the acharyas. This is recommended in Bhagavad Gita for making advancement in spiritual life. Acharya-upasana. This is acharya-upasana, reading their books. Nana shastra vicharaneka nipuno saddharma samstapako. And in another class on nectar devotion. Acharya-upasana. So our acharya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Sri Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopala, Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, 6 Goswamis. If we associate with them, this book, The Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, if you read it regularly, try to understand it, that means you are associating with Rupa Goswami directly. And if you act accordingly, then you are serving their lotus feet. Tadera charana seva bhakti sanivas. And unless you are associated with devotees, you will not be able to understand the import of the writings of Rupa Goswami. So therefore, not only we're reading the books, Srila Prabhupada has given us Acharya's books, he's given us the Acharya's commentaries in his translations of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. But we also have to chant, hear, study in the association of the devotees. Because it is in the association of the devotees we will be able to please the devotees, please the Guru, and please Krishna. Without surrendering to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, we will not be able to get deeper into our personal bhajan, our personal devotional service. Our realization of our relationship with Krishna can only come after we get rid of these anarthas that are standing in our way. So these anarthas include this thinking that we can determine the Shastra by our own intelligence, by our own intelligent inquiry. We can decide what to apply out of the Shastra and what not to. I mean, certainly there are things in the wider Shastras that don't apply to us. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that these Vedas are intended for people in the modes of nature. So those instructions for people in the modes of nature, Krishna tells Arjuna, you must rise above that. You must get to a higher level of understanding. So we must. But in order to get to that higher level of understanding, we have to accept the teachings of the Acharyas, and we have to become humble, approach the devotees in a humble state of mind, surrender to the Guru Parampara, represented by a personal Guru. So we will be humble, we will be seeking to serve and seeking to surrender, following the Guru's instructions, whether they're general instructions that he's given in general classes, or whether they're specific instructions that we've been given personally. And when we follow this process of associating with the devotees in a humble state of mind, we can become open to understanding the Shastra fully, because we'll hear their explanations. This is what's meant in Nectar of Instruction, in verse number 4, Nectar of Instruction. We're told to inquire confidentially and explain in confidence. So when we inquire confidentially, when we discuss the Shastras with others, various devotees have stressed the importance of reading in small groups, of picking your association of like-minded devotees. So if you just go to a feast program at the temple, you're mixing with all kinds of devotees, you're mixing with people who just come for prasadam. So you will not get that select sangha of like-minded devotees. You actually have to put some effort into finding that sangha of like-minded devotees. And then when you discuss in such a way, you can become open to expanding your understanding of the Shastra and chanting in a humble state of mind and coming towards realization of our relationship with Krishna. And then we can act in that relationship. Our offenses will all cease when we take this attitude of a humble state of mind and wanting to learn. We will no longer be looking for our personal gain from chanting, from associating with the devotees, from hearing. And our realization of the scriptures will follow as a consequence or an effect. Now, we've still got some time left. There was one other thing that I have here. I can't tell you who this devotee is. There is a devotee called Sri Sanatan Das, has written a prayer to the Guru, which probably could be sung as a song. Okay. Asraya Kariya Vandan Shri Guru Charanam Jaha Haite Milibai Krishna Premadana. Taking refuge of Sri Guru, I bow at his feet. O brother, by this the treasure of Krishna Prem is attained. So this is similar to our Guru Vandana we sing in the mornings, except this one has got more verses and is explaining in more detail. Jivara nisthara lagi nanda sutak hari bhuvane prakasha hana guru rupa dari. For deliverance of the jiva, Nanda's son, Sri Hari, is manifest in the world, assuming the form of Sri Guru. Mahimaya Guru Krishna eka kari jana, Guru Agya Hriday Sabha Satya Karimana. Know that in glory, Guru and Krishna are one. Accept Guru's orders in your heart, considering them to be the divine reality. So this understanding that Guru and Krishna is one is very important. Prabhupada says, I'm not Krishna. I don't tell you to worship me, I tell you to worship Krishna. But Guru and Krishna are one in the sense that the tattva comes directly from Krishna. And the Guru is the Sevaka Bhagavan. He has come to serve Krishna. So he's one in purpose. He spreads Krishna's messages. So in that way, Guru and Krishna are one. Guru Tattva. We're talking about Guru Tattva, not Guru person. Satya Jnane Guru Vakya Jahara Vishvasa Avasyatahara Haya Vrajabhumi Vasa. Whoever has firm faith in the divine wisdom of Sri Guru's words resides eternally in Vrajbhumi. Yara Prati Guru Deva Hanaparasana Kona Vigge Seho Nahi Haya Avasana. Whoever courts the pleasure of Sri Guru in all respects will not become disheartened by any obstacles. So our goal in life is to please the Guru. And when we please the Guru, we will please Krishna. Krishna Rishta Haite Guru Rakhi Bare Bare. Guru Rishta Haire Krishna Rakhi Bare Nari. If one makes Krishna angry, Sri Guru can protect him. But if one makes Sri Guru angry, even Krishna cannot protect him. Guru Mata, Guru Pita, Guru Hanapate, Guru Vina e samsare nahi arigati. Sri Guru is our mother, our father, our Lord and Master. Without Sri Guru, there is no other recourse in the world of transmigratory existence. Guru ke manusyu jnana ekara kakana, Guru ninda kabu karne na kara shavana. Never for a minute consider Sri Guru to be an ordinary mortal, and never lend an ear to any defamation of the Guru. So that's our third offense in the chanting of the holy name, to consider Guru to be an ordinary person or disobey his orders. Guru nindu kera mukha kabu na haribe, yata haya Guru ninda tata na yaibe. Do not even look at those who vilify Sri Guru in the face. Do not go to that place where criticism of Sri Guru is indulged in. Guru ra vikriya yadi dekaha kakana, tatapi avakya nahi kara kadachana. Even if you observe at any time some forbidden activities performed by Sri Guru, still you should never for a moment hold him in disregard. So this is interesting. One of the devotees of Lord Nityananda said the same about Nityananda. Even if I see him going into a liquor house and coming out with a bottle of liquor, I will not think bad of him. I think he's just gone in there to preach or for some good purpose. Maybe he's going to distribute the liquor as prasadam to someone else. Guru para padme rahi yare nishta bhakti, jagat tarite se dare mahashakti. Whoever maintains unflinching devotion to Sri Guru's lotus feet is possessed of the great power with which he can deliver the whole entire world. Hena Guru para padma karaha vandana, yaha haite guche bai sakala yantrana. Just bow to the lotus feet of such a Sri Guru, for by doing so, O brother, all afflictions are terminated. Guru pada padme nicha ye kara kare vandana, śarīre dari vanda ami tanhara charana. I bow to one who always makes obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Guru, and I take such a person's feet on my head. Sri Guru charana padma hriday kari asha, Sri Guru vandana kari sanatana dasa. Desiring the lotus feet of Sri Guru within his heart, Sanatan Das makes this Guru vandana, praise and glorification of Sri Guru. So that I found that I was searching about one of these phrases about Guru. I think I was searching about Guru Nishta and this came up. It's in a book by Gaur Govinda Swami called The Process of Inquiry, which is very interesting. Gaur Govinda Swami talks about the need to surrender to Guru and to associate with the devotees and to chant the holy names. Okay, so now I stop here. If anyone has any comments or questions, we can go into them. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This microphone is here.
Mataji, actually we have two questions. My first question is, just like actually recently we have seen our movie is the Kṛtsnaṁ files. In that movie actually we have seen so many dramas are filled by the...
Sorry, can you just speak again? Yeah.
Actually recently
Yeah.
we have seen one movie in the Kṛtsnaṁ files especially. So in that movie actually the reality of the India where so many Brahmans, especially the Kashmiri Pandits, are killed by the Islamic persons. So, and in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says we always protect, always Krishna protect cows and the Brahmans. And in the past, we have already seen so many Brahmans are killed by the camels and something. So, how can I understand this?
Okay, so when Krishna offers protection, he may not be offering protection to the material body. Because the soul, he's explained in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita how the soul is eternal. And even for, not just for brahmanas, for the devotees also, sometimes people's faith is shaken when they see devotees die in accidents. Like Tamal Krishnadas Goswami, he died as a result of a car accident. Some of the devotees were questioning, how come this happened? Doesn't Krishna protect his devotees? But actually, we can't understand Krishna's purpose. Krishna has a highest purpose. Now, sometimes our faith needs to be shaken, to be tested. If everything was always very nice and smooth and comfortable, do we know how strong our faith is? No, our faith is expressed when we're shaken. Like even the story of the pāṇḍavas. You know the story of the pāṇḍavas. So many bad, they were Krishna's closest devotees, greatest companions. But all the bad things that happened to them, they were put in a house of fire. Bhima was fed a poison cake. They were sent to the forest. They were chastised in so many ways. But it was in this that it was demonstrated, their faith was demonstrated. So it became an example for us that despite no matter what happened, their faith was unshaken. So this is also there. And also for our purification, I can't speak about the wider history, but I know, I remember one of my god sisters, she was leaving her body, and her daughter was saying to my Guru Maharaj, can't you just get rid of the pain? Can't you just let her go back to Godhead? And Guru Maharaj said, no, not now, not now. And so my realization from that was that actually this process of pain, this process of difficulty is part of our purification. We have to become purified of our attachments to the material body, of our attachments to our way of thinking, and in order to become qualified to go back to Godhead. So sometimes challenges have to come into our world. As the age of Kali progresses, life will become even more difficult for the devotees and the brahmanas. It's described in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that towards the end of the age of Kali, the devotees will have to hide in the forests, and there'll be nothing vegetarian to eat except for a little bit of grass. It's going to become very difficult for brahmanas and devotees. But this is part of the process. We can't understand it all. Krishna's process is so perfect that he can manage to arrange for everyone's purification all at once in one single act. Someone might be purified by going through trouble. Someone else might be purified by trying to understand it and see it. The perpetrator will also become purified eventually. Does that understand?
Yes, thank you. It's very clear about Krishna says our not material bodies, basically save our soul. Okay, this is good. And my second question is, sometimes somebody is hurting me, and sometimes we are not give the answer, yet it's not due to the act in proper way, because sometimes we are thinking, oh, we are not doing something of tadā if we are doing something. So, and then some persons are thinking, oh, he's a lazy, he's actually hurting, he just stopped, he's nothing says me. So that person is sometimes so covered, and how can I understand this thing?
Well, we should not worry too much about what other people think of us. In the early days, Prabhupada had the devotees going out on the street in New York. And in New York, there's no devotees around. So all these other people didn't know who these people were. At that time, they were not wearing proper dhotis or saris. They were wearing bed sheets or bolts of cloth. And the devotees came back to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, they think we're crazy. We're going out, we're singing on the streets. And Prabhupada said, you don't need to worry about that. They're the ones who are crazy, because they're the ones who are attached to trying to become happy in this world. Krishna has told us this world is dukkhalayam sasvatam. It's not permanent. Anything we think is happiness is going to finish. At the very best, it's going to finish. And this is a place of miseries. So people who are attached to this life are actually crazy. So as a result of that, and they actually published a small booklet, Who's Crazy? So the outsiders think we're crazy, we think they're crazy, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we act as per our knowledge, and we keep association with like-minded devotees. I mean, we have to work in the outside world, we try and preach in the outside world, but we have to keep our faith strong by part of the time associating with like-minded devotees, and that way we remain strong in our devotional service, in our chanting, and our understanding of devotional service. We remain strong by making sure we get association of like-minded devotees. And then we can not worry about what the rest of the people think. Thank you, Prabhuji. Anything else anyone wants to say? He wants to put it on the.
Ego comes from mind when I say.
Okay.
How to stay connected for one guru for lifetime, because phase changes, our age.
Sorry, Prabhu.
How to stay connected under one guru for lifetime? For lifetime, because life is 40. We can accept 40 years we live.
Yeah.
How to stay under one guru for stay under his guidance? Because he may be going for preaching for another area, or he will not personally contact us. How to stay connected?
So how to stay under one guru for a lifetime? We may not get personal association, personal instruction from him. So, Gokravindaswamy, he writes, he's got a book on Sri Guru, and he challenges us. He says, why you take initiation from a guru if you think he's a mortal man? Guru is a tattva, so he's never away from you. He may not physically be with you, but if you've really taken shelter of your guru, then he's present in his instructions, in his words, in his teachings, and you're serving him. So you may not be serving him personally, but you're serving his mission. He's also part of Prabhupada's mission. So in serving in ISKCON, you're serving Guru by helping him in his mission, which is part of Prabhupada's mission. So therefore your service goes to your Guru. You may not personally, I mean, some people don't get personal, they can't write to their Guru, ask a question and get an answer. Some people can, some people can't. So you may take a Siksha Guru, but that doesn't mean you've rejected your Diksha Guru. It means that you need some personal interaction with someone who can guide you. And some people get that from their gurus, even if they're other side of the world. Some gurus are able to allow access for all their disciples and some aren't. And not all disciples want to contact their gurus. So first you have to have a desire to serve your guru, to please your guru. You have his instructions, general or specific. And you can take shelter of Siksha gurus. If you want to take a formal shelter of a Siksha guru, you can just write to your guru. You can write to him, you can say, I'd like to take some Siksha from this devotee because I find him inspiring and he can help me for practical matters. And generally the guru, as long as you're genuinely asking, the guru is accepting, you can also have Siksha gurus. How does that sound? Further question?
Like Prabhupada never said that his Guru Maharaj is away from him.
Yes.
He think that his Guru Maharaj lies in his heart, so that's why he went to America. He can stay in Lavanga, but he went difficult places.
Yeah, so we have the same. When we develop that faith and that service attitude to our Guru, We remain fixed by hearing his instructions, by Prabhupada wasn't hearing instructions, even he only met him 5 or 6 times. But that first instruction he got, he was meditating on for 50 years before he tried to put it in practice. If you are an intelligent man, preach in the English language, and if you ever get a chance, print some books. So he meditated on that instruction, and that kept his guru with him in his heart. So even if we don't get a specific instruction, the most important instruction of our guru is to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offences, to associate with devotees, and to serve cultivation. Thank you, Prabhu. All right, anything else from anyone else? All right, thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.